All right, talking about the running backs for week 7, again, as we mentioned in the quarterback video, not a lot of big names here, not a lot of blow your budget type guys. This is a week to hold back on the waivers and make sure you're keeping any money that you have left for a better week than this one. But that being said, you may not be in a situation where you can wait. You may be in a dire situation going like 2-4 where you need to win this week. Lost Miles Sanders, Dalvin Cook is on bye week. Plenty of reasons, or Jonathan Taylor also on bye week this week, so plenty of reasons why you might need a spot start. I'm going to talk about the guys that could potentially be out there. The first two I don't think will be there. Definitely higher owned, but if they are, definitely check to see if they're there. Justin Jackson went off against the New Orleans Saints before he went on bye. 15 carries for 71 yards. Also had 5 receptions on 6 targets for 23 yards. Definitely taking in more of the Austin Eckler role. Eckler should be out for a good few more weeks after suffering that grade 2 hamstring strain. Justin Jackson looked a lot better than Joshua Kelly out there. So if he's out there, shouldn't be, but if he is, definitely worth at least 35% of your fab, if not all of it, depending on how needy you are. J.K. Dobbins is an interesting stash here as well. With Mark Ingram going down with that ankle injury, we did see them use more of Gus Edwards, but if they have a whole week to plan here, going on bye week there for the Ravens, if Mark Ingram ends up missing any significant time with this injury, look for J.K. Dobbins to end up getting a pretty significant role. Prior to week 5 or prior to week 6, he was leading the league in production premium, leading the league in true yards per carry. Incredibly elusive, had done a lot with a few touches that he's had. I really want to see what he looks like with even a 50% workload, sharing it with Gus Edwards. Should be very productive for fantasy. So we'll see what happens with Mark Ingram, but definitely a name to keep an eye on. If he isn't on waivers, this might be a time for you to be able to buy him low. Options, if you need to start this week, more likely to be out there on your waivers. J.D. McKissic for Washington, and 8 carries for 41 yards, but also 6 catches and 43 yards through the air. It's been nothing crazy, no ceiling by any means, but has been producing right around 12 to 14 fantasy points for the past 3 weeks. Definitely like that. Boston Scott's going to be starting in place of Miles Sanders on Thursday night versus the New York Giants. He didn't really do much the last time he came out there, got hurt against Washington in week 1, but has been the back to spell Miles Sanders from time to time, and was also the guy that came in place of Sanders when he went down due to that injury. So Boston Scott most likely to be the most productive fantasy asset there. They do play the Giants this week, so it should be a decent spot start. I'm not too thrilled by it. It's not like he's going to come anywhere near what we would expect Miles Sanders to do, but hopefully he gets into the end zone for a score and is involved in the passing game. Now that they're missing both Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz, Boston Scott should be involved through the air. And then JaMycal Hasty with Jerick McKinnon going on IR due to that high ankle sprain. Another guy that we'd be willing to spend about 12% of our fab for. Only had 9 carries on Sunday for 37 yards, but didn't really play into the second half of that game. Jerick McKinnon will be the lead dog here, but we know San Francisco likes to split the work. Jeff Wilson has been hurt as well, so it might be the McKinnon and Hasty show this Sunday, and I definitely think it's worth a look. He looked pretty explosive out there, and he could end up carving himself a bigger role as the season goes on. We know the high ankle sprains can linger beyond the 3-week timetable that they're giving for McKinnon right now. So this might end up being one of those plays that seems like a really cheap option now, but if you can get him for cheap, someone you want to keep on your roster for a lot longer, definitely try to stash JaMycal Hasty this week. All right, upside stashes, guys, I'm not spending a lot of money on, but players you want to make sure are rostered, especially if they are handcuffs for you. Giovanni Bernard got into the end zone again this week. As frustrating as that is for Joe Mixon owners, it should be a reminder that if Joe Mixon were to ever miss time, Giovanni Bernard would be a decent start. Devontae Booker has been the handcuff to own if you have Josh Jacobs. Tony Pollard looked decent after Ezekiel Elliott fumbled the ball away 2 times last night versus the Cardinals, and would definitely be the guy to own should Zeke ever miss time. I know that never seems to happen, but if you have a deep enough roster, Tony Pollard should still be there. And then Jamal Williams didn't do nearly as much this last week against Tampa Bay, but we saw him have 8 catches in the game versus Atlanta. They're definitely trying to keep him involved, keep Aaron Jones fresh as the season goes on. If Aaron Jones were to ever miss time, Jamal Williams, that's definitely looked the better back between he and A.J. Dillon.